Hey everyone, so today we're diving into Twin Peaks, the restaurant you've probably heard about, known for its sports, its scenery, and its scratch-made food. If you've ever been curious about what the whole experience is really like, you are in the right place. We're going to break down everything you need to know from the menu to the deals. Let's get into it. Okay, first things first. You always hear Twin Peaks described as a sports lodge, not just another sports bar. And that's not just marketing talk. It's a really key distinction. It's pretty much the foundation of their entire brand, and it's how they set themselves apart from the competition. But what does that actually mean? So here's the core idea. I want you to picture a cozy, rustic mountain cabin. That's the lodge part. Now imagine filling it with wall-to-wall TVs playing every single game you can think of, plus a really high-energy crowd. And then here's the kicker. Add a kitchen that's actually proud of making its food from scratch, not just microwaving frozen bar snacks. That whole combination, that is the sports lodge experience. All right, so we get the vibe. But let's be honest, the heart and soul of any restaurant is the menu, right? So let's decode what you'll actually find on the plate at Twin Peaks. You know, you take one look and you realize this is way more than just wings and fries. The menu covers a massive range of American comfort food. You've got your appetizers, which they call bites, classic burgers and sandwiches, but also full-on entrees they call hot dishes, plus tacos, salads. It's a really comprehensive lineup. And the menu has some serious, and I mean serious range. On one end, you could get something like the Billionaire's Bacon. It's a great savory starter, comes in at about 410 calories. But on the complete opposite end of the spectrum is the shareable baked pretzel, which clocks in at a whopping 2,650 calories. And this kind of crazy range is totally intentional. It's designed for everybody, whether you're just grabbing a quick snack or you're a big group settling in for the entire game. So, okay, the menu's huge, but what are the things that people specifically go there for? What are the signatures? That's what really builds the whole Twin Peaks experience. Of course, you can't have a sports bar without wings. It's like a rule. But Twin Peaks really puts their own spin on it. Their signature style is smoked and grilled, so they cook them low and slow over hickory wood first, and then they finish them on the grill. It gives them this really distinct smoky flavor you just don't find everywhere. And the customization is just awesome. First, you pick your quantity. Then, you choose your style. Do you want boneless, traditional bone-in, or that signature smoked and grilled we were just talking about? And then, of course, the fun part. You pick your sauce. And this shows you just how serious they are about sauces. They really cover the entire spectrum of heat. You can play it super safe with something delicious like garlic parmesan, or you can crank it up with Nashville hot. Or, if you're feeling particularly brave, you can go for the extreme heat of the ghost pepper sauce. I mean, there's a challenge right there if you want it. Now let's talk about another signature item. You're going to see this number plastered everywhere at Twin Peaks. 29 degrees. What in the world is so special about that? It's the temperature of their draft beer, 29 degrees Fahrenheit, which is just below freezing. Serving beer this cold is honestly one of their biggest claims to fame. It creates this extra frosty, super crisp pint that has become a huge, huge part of their brand identity. And finally, we gotta talk about portion size. The company itself actually describes them as manly portions, which, well, that tells you everything you need to know. The expectation is set for big, hearty, satisfying meals. This isn't fine dining. This is about filling you up while you watch the game. Okay, so you know what they offer. Now let's get practical. How do you actually make the most of a visit? This section is all about the deals, the dietary info, and all the little details you'll probably want to know before you go. So there are a few really easy ways to save some cash here. First, hit up their happy hour. It runs every day from 3 to 6 p.m. with deals on drinks and appetizers. Second, before you go, sign up for their Friends of the Peaks Club online. That gets you free chips and queso right off the bat. And finally, they do offer a military discount, so definitely be sure to ask if that applies to you. But what if you have dietary restrictions? It's a totally valid question for any restaurant these days, especially one that's known for such hearty food. Can you actually find something that fits your needs? The short answer is yes, but you gotta do a little planning. They have a full allergen menu available for you to check out. If you're gluten-free, things like the naked bone-in wings are a great choice, or you can swap in a Beyond Meat patty on any burger. The most important thing to remember, though, is the disclaimer. Because it's all made in one kitchen, cross-contact is always a possibility, so just make sure to tell your server about any allergies. And as for when you can actually go, the doors usually open every day around 11 a.m. They'll close at midnight during the week, but they stay open until 1 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays, which makes it a pretty solid late-night spot for the weekend. So, we've covered the concept, the food, the drinks, and all the practical stuff. Let's bring it all together for the final verdict. What is the complete Twin Peaks experience? I think this customer review really captures a huge part of the appeal. It's not just about the food or the beer, it's the whole atmosphere. For those huge sporting events like UFC fights, it becomes a destination, a place where the energy of the crowd is just as important as what's happening on the screen. So, to really sum it all up, the Twin Peaks package is built on these four pillars. You've got that unique rustic lodge ambiance. You get a menu that's made in-house with those famously huge portions. You get the signature 29-degree beer, and all of that comes together to create what they're aiming for, the complete sports bar experience. Ultimately, it really just combines those three core things. It's a pretty straightforward formula, but it's one they execute with a very, very specific identity. So the final question is really for you. Is this combination of hearty food, extra cold beer, and wall-to-wall sports your idea of the perfect lodge?